For centuries, the metric of empire was stone and soil, measured by marble columns, rigid borders, and the sheer volume of land under one flag. This era of power relied on men in uniform physically occupying territory. Modern influence has migrated into a less visible dimension, where control is exercised without a single soldier crossing a border. The United States and China now operate as machine civilizations. They function like global weather systems, exporting systemic conditions and administrative defaults that surround every other nation on Earth. Living under this exported weather means the global order now functions as an atmosphere, imposing invisible but non-negotiable constraints on how a society manages its daily life. The American machine generates its climate through financial reach and constant capability jumps. It structures life around relentless testing and real-time pricing, rewarding those with the fluency to navigate complex procedural hurdles. The Chinese machine relies on industrial depth and the rapid deployment of physical capacity. Its climate demands a high-speed tempo, prioritizing hierarchical closure and the ability to manufacture at a scale that resets global expectations. Nations find themselves absorbing Washington's bureaucratic formats or Beijing's industrial cycle times, regardless of political alignment. These two massive logistical engines are fighting to format the globe, turning the geopolitical map into a struggle over whose operating system runs the world. Control begins with the stack, the foundational layer of technology and law. The American stack exerts power through semiconductor choke points, global capital markets, and a strict regime of licensing and compliance. China exports a different stack built on physical rails. It offers hardware, electrification, and deep supply chains, providing the material infrastructure that many developing economies require to function. Plugging into a superpower stack rewires internal administrative logic, the floor. The American blueprint converts bureaucracy into a continuous exam. Survival requires navigating a maze of fragmented claims. Conversely, the Chinese blueprint installs rigid corridors, prioritizing efficiency and subordination over individual expression. Importing a superpower's efficiency inherently imports its specific style of societal humiliation. This pressure eventually hits the middle, the ordinary layer where citizens expect stability and a sense of belonging. This is the layer that determines whether a society holds together or curdles. The American machine fractures this layer by exporting its platform-native culture wars. This attention-driven format imports foreign polarizations, turning local policy disagreements into existential battles for identity. The Chinese machine pressures the middle through cycle time compression. Its industrial tempo forces global labor markets to accelerate, exhausting the time and resources families need to maintain a cultural life. Pundits focus on warships and borders to measure the balance of power, yet these physical standoffs often mask the systemic decay happening inland. A society becomes ungovernable the moment its middle collapses under the weight of imported bureaucratic and cultural stress. Large powers like Europe and India recognize this trap and attempt to build partial stacks to shield themselves from the primary weather systems. Europe fights back through regulation. It attempts to codify reality by exporting strict standards, liability frameworks, and compliance lattices that other nations must adopt to access its markets. India leverages its scale to export diffusion. It provides the integration labor and back-office processes that hold the world's digital infrastructure together, making itself an indispensable part of the global plumbing. Lacking a complete primary stack, these large powers function as secondary weather systems, compounding the bureaucratic burden on the rest of the world. Selective routing provides a survival path for successful middle powers, allowing them to engage with the machine civilizations without being absorbed by them. These nations exercise refusal authority. They extract capital from one side and infrastructure from the other, while actively deflecting the societal pathologies that usually travel with them. Their domestic goal is to keep ordinary life boring and predictable, protecting the middle from being hollowed out by foreign operational demands. Sovereignty in the machine age depends on the institutional discipline to maintain a society's own shape, refusing to let it dissolve into someone else's infrastructure.